I mean, coming up, I was like a big Slick Rick fan. I was a big Rakim fan, and I think that's where I learned to like incorporate the storytelling aspect of rap or bars in my like really just figuring out how to make punchlines become a narration. So like, I mean, it was one of those days, not much to do. I was chilling downtown with my old school crew. I went to the store to buy a slice of pizza, and there was a girl named Mona. I mean, that was my shit. I mean, well, coming up, I've said this before, like, I'm literally from Linden Boulevard. I'm from Linden Boulevard, so literally, I would see Run DMC driving through the hood. I would chop it up with LL. So those was inspirations for me to like know that it wasn't galaxies away as far as getting on. You know what I'm saying? It's like literally right verse, right time, keep grinding. You know what I'm saying? You could get it in the right hands. You can get your music in the right hands. And that's always been like Queens. We always been like ground, like, feet to the ground with the hustle. You know what I'm saying? And so coming outside and just being in the mix, we learned that early, even before the industry, like just being in the mix of being on the corner and just, like I said, LL jumping out. At that time, I guess going to get a 40 or whatever, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, yo, when I was outside, I couldn't let him walk past without spitting at him. You know what I'm saying? Because that was the closest thing I was going to get to an A&R. When I see Run, when Run jumped out, one infamous night, me and him battled, and that's how I even got in Tribe, because I couldn't let him skate. I wasn't letting that bag skate. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the biggest lesson from a skill set standpoint was me having to learn song structure. There's a difference between the park and the NBA. You know what I mean? And, I got my first hit record in Tribe doing Stressed Out with Faith Evans. You know what I'm saying? And so that was the footsteps to get into the bag. You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously, there was a back then, like I said, it was the soil. So the amount of talent that was in the hood was in abundance. It was the resource of talent was in abundance, but there's a difference between, a diamond mine and Tiffany's. You know what I mean? Like, there's a process to get it to where you selling engagement rings out of Tiffany's. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, if we in South Africa, we all got diamond mines, but how we get into the money? You know what I'm saying? And so that was probably my biggest lesson. I think we learn from each other. I think me and Kanye learn from each other. In total transparency, I think we learn from each other. Like, I don't want to misquote this, but I feel like there were two famous boxers that were sparring partners before they both blew. I want to say it was, I know it was Holyfield and somebody else, but the parallel that I'm trying to paint is that, I mean, obviously, when I met up with Kanye, I was leaving the Tribe situation, and so I was hungry, and I think what he learned from me was how to translate what he wanted to say to the hood. You know what I'm saying? And I think what I learned from him was like, yo, all love to the hood, but there's a super bigger picture too. You know what I'm saying? So I think when we exchanged those ideologies, we got to the College Dropout, and then we got to where we were able to do legendary things together, and individually, obviously. I got into this to be me. You know what I mean? So it's always me first. You know what I mean? Respectfully to every client. But you know what I mean? It's always me first, which is the reason why I had to put out my new album, Nice Doing Business With You. You know what I mean? Because, it's like same thing as every basketball player. Like, when you pick up the ball, it's to learn, it's for you to hit the jumper. You know what I'm saying? But then you learn it's a team, you learn it can excel you as a team player. You know what I mean? And so me ghostwriting is an extension of my personal talent and me being a team player and understanding the parameters of the game itself. You know what I mean? And that's why it's been a successful component for me. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, to your question about getting into the mind of another artist, it's like, you really have to be nice to be able to say this is what I would say and have them say, and it still sound like they said it. You know what I mean? And I'll, you know, doubling back to the question you asked before about that's part of that tutelage of Slick Rick and Rakim, just painting a picture. Like once you learn how to paint a picture, you can create an atmosphere on the canvas, right? And so if you can do that for yourself, you can do that for others, because you're like, all right, I spend enough time with you. I kind of get who you are and what you need to say. And so it always works well also when it's a collab, because it's like, all right, what do you want to say? I can make you say whatever because I have a command of words. But what do you need to say, and what do people need to hear you say, is where you get to that sweet spot where something is memorable. Love what you do, and do what you love. Don't compromise who you are for the sake of who you think you should be. You know what I mean? Like, if it's destiny, it's gonna happen the way it's supposed to happen. And we see classic examples of that. You know what I'm saying? And always never be afraid to just to fine tune what it is that you do. Like, I'm always practicing. Even at this late stage in the game, if I go to the gym, I'm on the treadmill, I'm practicing the Tribe joints. I'm practicing the verses from the College Dropout. You know what I'm saying? When you love it, it becomes a part of you. And once it's a part of you, no matter if you chart, you don't chart, you this, you that, you there, you'll always be able to see another day, and you're only as good as your last game.